It is Arsenal Spurs tomorrow, Abby. Massive game in North London derby. Come on then, how are you feeling?
I don't really get nervous anymore or excited. I genuinely feel like when you lose 22 times in a season, like it does just take all hope and excitement and anything out of you. So like I don't really have that. I mean, North London derby is like the biggest game of the season, like home and away, right? It's the one that's like filled with the most venom, hatred, even though we do obviously play you and that's also filled with a lot of hate and venom. But like it hits different on a North London derby. I've just got this feeling, not necessarily that we're going to win, but I just don't feel like we're going to get battered. What's funny about that?
Like this, okay, you're entitled to feel how you feel.
What, you think the Spurs are going to get battered tomorrow?
No, it's just hilarious how like you're going into a game and you're like, I don't think we're going to get battered, as if that's a good thing.
That is.
I understand you've got a poor record in North London derbies, especially at the Emirates, but Spurs are the best away team in the Premier League this season.
This
haven't lost a game away from
But
home.
this is why I don't feel like we're going to get battered. If this was at home, I genuinely would be a bit more concerned because of how bad our home form's been. And it sounds such a bizarre thing to say that I feel like having more of a chance going to the Emirates, but I feel like the way that Spurs and Thomas Frank have set up this season will actually suit us more away from home. I think it might just be a cagey one. Like, the biggest problem with Spurs is obviously the creativity and the attacking threat in that final third.
Yeah,
that is so obvious to see, especially with the injuries that we've got in those positions. I just think if you can go there and ideally not concede the first goal, if we can do that, because I feel like Arsenal was so hard to break down anyway. I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the set pieces. Obviously, that's a natural thing when that comes from Arsenal. Spurs are also kind of now doing this thing where we score from set pieces and we're becoming a little bit Stokified, which is fine. At the end of the day, if you can go to the Emirates and you can get something and not get battered and leave with something, I would take that all day long. I'd literally take a draw right now.
Oh, God, I'm sure you
right
would.
now, bite your hand off for it.
Rack up those shorts.
Rack up those points.
How do you feel, Quakey? I mean, do you give Spurs any chance? I know Arsenal dropped points, didn't they, against Sunderland for the international break, but they're just looking so good at the moment. It's hard, isn't it, to kind of put forward a situation where Arsenal don't win?
Yeah, they are, in my opinion, the best team in the country. I am looking at that game closely because international breaks are a weird one, right? And I feel like if there is a soul of the Arsenal team, it is Gabriel, and him missing for the next month or two is huge for them. But what I do like from Arsenal fans, I don't normally give them credit, is they're not moaning about their injuries. Arsenal fans are actually getting on with it. It's like, okay, cool, players injured, we're going to get on with it. If you think about how much time Odegaard's missed, Saka's missed time this season, so Saliba, Gyökeres has missed time, Havertz isn't there, and Arsenal fans are just getting on with it, and so is the team. And I feel like that's a mentality that's been instilled by Mikel Arteta, and credit to Arsenal, because I think about 3 or 4 years ago when they were in their first title race, when Saliba went down, it fell to pieces. Last season, when Saka went down for an extended period of time, it fell to pieces. So I just look at this Arsenal team and they've got a different sort of mentality, and I think this North London derby is an opportunity for them to put right the result for the international break.
Abby, it's been, and I've asked you about this before this season, but it does feel with Spurs this season that almost when you kind of look at Spurs' start on paper, you're 5th in the Premier League, you're unbeaten, aren't you, in the Champions League? In the Premier League, you're only 4 points off second place, which on paper feels like a decent start. But it really does feel like lots and lots of Spurs fans are just a little bit perhaps even not happy with Thomas Frank and, the style of football. But yet, when you look at the results, I mean, given, your team that finished 17th last season, 5th on, from 11 games isn't a bad start. Why do you think a lot of Spurs fans are maybe just not particularly happy at the moment? I
genuinely think it is just the style of play. I think that is what it is. Like, Thomas Frank is a more pragmatic style of manager. And Tottenham have always obviously gone for someone that is sexy, attacking, free-flowing football. Like, that is kind of the Tottenham way. But I just think, like, give the man a chance, right? Like, I know that we were saying about Arsenal haven't moaned about injuries maybe this season, but in general, Spurs over the last 2 years have been ravaged by injuries.
Yeah.
And I think that when you look at, you're missing like those 3 key players for you. Spurs don't have the same quality and depth. Yes, we have depth, but it doesn't match the same quality as other teams. And that's because we haven't always spent the money to buy the best players. I think the reliance on someone like Xavi Simons wouldn't really have been the case. We probably would have seen him settle in a little bit more rather than having the whole onus on him in that 10. If you had Maddison or Kulusevski available, who can both play in that role. I think missing Solanke, who was again out with a knock, who's, had to have surgery, and I don't know when he's back. The Kulusevski one keeps going on and on and on. Kudus obviously was missing games as well. Bergvall was missing games. So there's like a lot of key players that haven't really been involved in that attacking setup. And there is a big drop between the quality levels when you look to Spurs' bench. So I feel like why they're all on Thomas Frank's back is because it is a bit more of a conservative style of football, especially compared to what we had in the last 2 years. But let's be honest, bar the first 10 games of Andrew's reign, nothing was good about the last 2 years except for just the fact that he won that trophy. But the actual footballing side of it was incredibly poor. So I think give him a minute, like wait till he's got all the players at his disposal to be able to create something. We've seen him and what he did at Brentford. Like, I think people forget about this, what he did with that team in the Championship, the type of players that he managed to develop. We're talking about, Premier League proven players that have gone on to other clubs, the Mbuemos, the Ivan Tonys, the Ollie Watkins, for example. Like, he is, and Johan Visser, like, he's very good at player development. You've got young players like a Matisse Tell or an Odebert. I think Tell might start actually tomorrow potentially.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he fancies him. Like,
I don't fancy him.
Do you not?
No, there's a bit of nothingness. I don't know what I get from him. I feel like that with a lot of these Spurs players.
Yes, that.
Whether it's Kolo Muani, whether it's Xavi Simmons, there's just nothing.
Richarlison is. I'm not having him either.
But these are
Xavi
not
Simmons
Thomas-
is the one where even though he hasn't been consistent yet, I see a good player in there.
There is a good player in there, but I just
definitely.
think he has to personally adapt to the physicality of the Premier League and how quickly and fast paced it is. That hasn't really happened yet. You see him against Copenhagen, you see the ability that he has, but the Premier League is a different animal. Kolo Muani had never been injured prior to coming to Spurs. He's had a dead leg and then he's now got broken jaw. So I don't really think it's fair to pass a judgment on him.
Racking up those injuries.
We rack them up. That's something we do rack up, actually. Matisse Tell, I don't think has played enough games. I haven't seen enough of him to pass a judgment. Same as Odebert. I understand what you mean. There is a lot of, what do you actually do when it comes to Spurs players?
Odebert's another one. I mean, these players are just like, I don't really feel anything. Kudus is the one player where
Kudus is...
okay, you give me something.
Is he fit for tomorrow?
I think it's a late one. But again, he's been the only one in that attacking area that can do anything. But you can see he was knackered as well.
Solanke, Kudus,
Kulusevski.
Maddison and Kulusevski all injured at the same time. It's pretty brutal, that isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say if you take 4 of any team's best attacking players out of their team, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Abby, is it perhaps fair to say that if you were to put together a combined 11, Arsenal and Spurs, that all 11 players are Arsenal? I mean, can anyone put forward a name of even if everybody's fit, you could argue that what Spurs players gets into the Arsenal team?
Not one.
I'm not sure it's any, right?
Which is crazy.
Right?
Well, yeah.
Go on,
But no. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's a fair comment. But you are looking at 2 very different teams. One has had a lot of stability for the last 6-7 years. One hasn't. I think there are very good players individually at Spurs. You can't tell me Mickey van der Ven is not a great player.
No one's saying that.
You can't tell me Romero is not a good player. You can't tell me Udogi's not a very good player.
No one's saying
I'm not. I'm just talking.
I just said they don't get into a Spurs.
They don't get into. Listen,
I'm not saying Spurs have got no good players.
They don't get into this Arsenal team because this Arsenal team is the best team in the league, and it's probably up there as one of the best teams in Europe. That is fact. That is. I can't even lie about it. Like, it is what it is. They're great.
Don't lie.
I'm not. They are great. So that is because they've had very good recruitment. They've spent their money well. They've had a lot of consistency. Spurs are still, I think, building, especially under like Thomas Frank. Like, you got to give this guy like time to build what he wants. Also, there's no Daniel Levy anymore. Like, the board and the chairman and whoever, they're saying they're going to invest their money. This will be genuinely like one of the first times in the whole ENIC period that ENIC have supposedly said they are going to invest their own money and not just put back in whatever the club's generated. So I'm kind of like, let's just wait and see. But no, they got on the bench for Arsenal.
Definitely true. Lee, how are you guys pricing this game up?
Yeah, Arsenal overwhelming favourites, 2-5 to win the match, 17-5 the draw, Tottenham 13-2. It feels a big price for Tottenham. I understand why they are that price. That gives them a 13% chance of winning this game. Oh, wow. I always say this, don't they? Out of 100 games, if they played each other 100 times at Arsenal, do they win 14 of them?
You don't think we'd win 1?
I think you might win 1, but you don't win 14 out of 100, do you?
Yeah.
Well, no, because it's Spurs as well.
Yeah, so there we go.
Out of 100. That's a lot, though. So, I mean, I think it feels... My gut instinct, it feels a little big. And then you add into that Tottenham are the best away team in the Premier League. They've been to City and won 2-0. Admittedly, City weren't quite at it at the time, but they still went there.
Everton.
They went to Everton. It's the only team who's beaten Everton at their new stadium. They went to Elland Road, Fortress Elland Road, won there. Only team to have beaten Leeds there. Now I'm just making an argument here that they probably shouldn't quite be 13-2. Okay. There's one really interesting stat: 4 own goals scored by Tottenham in the last 4 games in this. That's a mad stat. I mean, I couldn't believe it. As I was going through, I was thinking, there can't be another own goal. It's so weird. 22-1. For an own goal in this one.
Nice.
I thought it's a silly little bet, isn't it? But it's an interesting one. But I think the draws a play 17-5. I think Arsenal's injury problems. If there ever is a time to play Arsenal, they've just drawn at Sunderland. Maybe this is it with Gabriel missing. But yeah, I know it's a stretch, but I just don't like Arsenal at the price.